there's companies out there that are building on a Bitcoin standard that have got nothing to do with, print your own token and pump it at the retail market,
Yeah.
and basically get someone else to take the bag off you
Yeah.
and make a quick buck. So that is obviously an opportunity where you're like, well, I can actually do these things that these companies still need. So was it quite easy then to set your own business up? And just chat me through, what does it actually require to run an agency like you do?
When I started 21M Communications, I was doing it on top of the other agency work that I was doing and handling a client on the side. Can I ask myself, can I make this work? Like, is there a market
For
for,
this, yes.
yeah, for this? Like, just to be, because I mean, traditional business sense tells you if you're going to offer a service, offer it to the largest, group that you can possibly reach. Right. So, the thought of being exclusionary to Bitcoin and like, am I going to be ready to turn down crypto money? Right? What am I going to
Mm.
have to do to start this? So I had to think about a number of different things. The gap that I saw was Bitcoiners wanted to work with other Bitcoiners. At the agency I was at, I was the Bitcoin guy, right? And any Bitcoin client that came through there, I was the one that would handle that account. And so that kind of tells you something. But the bad part about it is these agencies charge so much because they can command crypto VC money, but
Mm.
the Bitcoin VC money is, you know, a fraction of what you get in the crypto industry. So what happens is they will maybe go to the agency, but they won't be around for long because they can't really afford it.
Mm.
Or they find that they work with somebody that like doesn't even care about Bitcoin, right? I mean, do you really? And this is not the feedback I got. Like, do you really want to be giving money to an agency that's taking money from XRP? It's like if I can offer a price point that's going to make sense, that's lower than what you're going to get at an agency, and you're working with somebody that knows the ins and outs of Bitcoin, that's plugged in and really cares about it and will go the extra mile, then yeah, I think things will work out. And, it's always hard to start a business because you've got to be thinking about who am I going to hire to help fulfill certain things. And you always have to be thinking about the next business you're going to close. But the thing that's worked for me is just thinking, if I over deliver, if I always go the extra mile and I bring a level of passion and follow through to this, and I work with a couple really solid clients, then that's going to speak volumes. I'll get testimonials. They're going to tell other people, it's going to be a word of mouth thing. And I'm super grateful that that's pretty much how it's went. Ups and
Cool.
downs, of course, but
The good entrepreneurs, they share information with each other all
yeah,
the time. And
yeah,
they'll catch up at certain events, or they'll already be mates because they used to work in another company at the same time as each other, and they've been both, they've gone and started their own businesses. That old saying, if like you get these, they call it like the Airbnb mafia or whatever, as Airbnb IPOs, there's all these guys that have suddenly made millions of dollars and they go off and start their own thing.
yeah,
And so if you know a few of those, they know each other basically. And so if you're a good PR guy for one of them, they'll be like, oh, you need some help with that? Cool, Phil.
yeah.
And it's definitely how it works. And what's so interesting as well is that idea of the value of one's time is required to be represented as a price, but as
Mhm.
a startup, you're incentivized to reduce that price just to get through the front door.
That's right.
And that's very natural. But over time, you do a good job for 4 or 5 brands that go from being a Series A kind of business through to like later stage. They need more and more work, and there'll be other companies coming up underneath them. So yeah, it's a really interesting strategy. What's also crazy is when you touch on the crypto industry payment abilities. I've been doing podcasting in all sorts of different formats the last like 4 or 5 years, and getting paid sponsorship contracts by Bitcoin companies is really, really hard
Hmm.
because they just don't have the same funds. Whereas
Yeah.
if you were to go out and do a shitcoin podcast, you could be paid absolutely tons of money very, very fast. Why? Well, they can print their own money.
Yeah, brother, that is the ethical, but I think that's why Bitcoiners want to work with other Bitcoiners because
Mm,
you're I mean, it's a signal that you're an ethical person, that you've got a moral compass. And a lot of these guys that are running Bitcoin companies, they had the option to do the crypto thing,
hmm
right? That's on the table. You look, oh man, look at all that funding that crypto's getting. You could do that, right? But at what cost? So I think it's a matter of just, Bitcoiners looking out for other Bitcoiners because not like they're doing something charitable. It has nothing to do with that. I mean, you just want to help people, but it's a signal because other Bitcoiners just tend to be more ethical.